I saw many untimely deaths. God told me to tell the church that they should pray against that untimely deaths. We should pray against it, that none of our family members back home or near or here or anywhere will go to the untimely death. So we have to get time to pray against that. Amen. Amen.
A grim milestone, 100,000. Americans from all walks of life, across generations. The New York Times filled its front page with just 1,000 of the grandfathers, grandmothers, husbands and wives, sons and daughters. 100,000 taken so fast by COVID-19, this country is still reeling in shock. Cody Lister of Colorado was a healthy 21-year-old kid.
Cody he had the best smile in the world, and he would reach out and use that.
Korean War vet James Mandeville was 83 years old when COVID took him from his family. Dariana Dyson was just 15.
This hurts people. This hurts people in ways that they'll never be able to come back from.
In just a few short months, this pandemic sweeping the world has infected some 2 million here at home. Hospitals turned into battlefields.
It is absolutely heartbreaking. From the young to the old, they are all very sick.
Our new soldiers, the frontline workers, have fallen in service too. Chicago nurse Chris Guzman was a 35-year-old with 3 young children. Louisiana cop Mark Hall Sr. had 30 years on the force. Philip Dover, 2 decades driving a bus in New Jersey. And as we gingerly open up, perhaps wave from a safe distance, we have not had time to grieve.
One thing the Lord told me that we should pray very serious. That this year there's going to be tornadoes and hurricanes. Amen. And God opened my eyes. I saw Texas, and the Lord said that those places we should pray very seriously for them, for hurricanes and tornadoes. Amen. Tornadoes.
Hannah making landfall and moving further inland this morning. The timing of this storm making matters even more difficult.
Yeah, the storm coming ashore in the lower Texas Gulf Coast area, destroying homes in an area in the middle of a struggle to handle the needs of a rush of coronavirus patients.
And as the first hurricane to hit the U.S. this year, in fact, the first hurricane of the Atlantic season, it has now been downgraded to a tropical storm, but is still packing high winds, heavy rain, and flooding. Rob Marciano right there in Corpus Christi. Rob, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, not a good spot to have a hurricane considering how active the virus is down here. And on top of that, this part of the Gulf, hurricanes can intensify quickly, and that's exactly what happened with Hannah. It got to nearly Category 2 status as it came ashore yesterday, bringing with it a still relentless storm surge and tremendously damaging winds.
Overnight, Hurricane Hannah slamming South Texas. The strong Category 1 storm pounding Corpus Christi and Point South with powerful winds strong enough to knock over this semi. And flooding rains and dangerous storm surge too.
We're in the eye wall of Hurricane Hannah, which is making landfall right now on the coast of South Texas with 90-mile-per-hour winds. The first hurricane of the season, Texas taking a direct hit.
And also, I saw wildfire exposure. Wildfire exposure. So the Lord spoke to me that these places we should pray for them. And I saw a number of houses that were burned, and a number of people that were consumed to ashes. Amen. So we should pray against it. And all of it, I saw California was number 1. Amen. So we should pray. And I saw Mississippi. Amen. And I saw Oklahoma. So we should pray for these places. Amen.
Tonight, the desperate battle to contain California's historic fires is now a race against time. Crews working around the clock to get a handle on some of the largest fires in state history, with a new looming threat in the forecast today. Fresh red flag warnings and another predicted bout of dry lightning storms. The same conditions were in place exactly 1 week ago. Thousands of lightning strikes and heavy winds spread flames across the state.
They could cause havoc on this fire and fire throughout the region 50 miles away.
Today, another grim milestone. The fires now totaling more than 1.1 million acres in size. A fire footprint visible from space.
And I saw mass killing. We should pray very seriously against that. We should pray very seriously against that mass killing. Mass killing, that people were holding guns, enter into a place where many people were, and they start shooting and they were killing. Amen. Amen. So we should pray very serious for that. Amen.
Calls came in shortly after 2 o'clock Central Time. The police response was immediate in what the mayor calls a horrible day in Milwaukee.
The gunfire erupted this afternoon at the Molson Coors Beverage Company in Milwaukee.
Okay, confirmed active shooter. Shooter's still at large.
Police responding to calls of an active shooter at the famed beverage company. Law enforcement officials say the gunman was recently fired. The mayor says there are multiple fatalities, including the shooter.
It is a horrible, horrible day for the employees here. It is a very rough day for anybody who is close to this situation.
With heavily armed tactical teams flooding the area, officers with long guns stormed buildings. Employees on lockdown told to hide anywhere they could, alerted of what police call a critical incident, as others nearby were ordered to shelter in place, including several schools.
This has never been anything that I would have ever thought would happen around here.
Located in Milwaukee, not far from Marquette University, Molson Coors Company sits on a sprawling campus with several buildings and more than 1,000 employees.
This is a very important company to the city, and we all have friends or know people who work there.
Tonight, another active shooter terrorizing another community amid reports of multiple people dead.
And tonight here in Milwaukee, you can still see that it's very much an active crime scene. Now, in addition to local law enforcement, ATF is on the ground assisting. We're also standing by for an update from police.
I saw a plane crash. I saw a plane crash. And I saw a train crash. And I saw a transport crash. Amen. So when we are going on our knees, what I'm saying, we have to pray about it. Amen. Amen. So that it will not affect anybody.
Breaking news tonight from California. Investigators are on the scene of a fiery plane crash. The plane apparently went down just as it was taking off. Chris Van Cleve has the latest.
Respond to an aircraft emergency at the Corona Airport. A plane's down.
Just after noon local time, the small plane went down just off the runway of the Corona, California Municipal Airport. Pilot Dorothy Vall says the plane was trying to take off.
He didn't pull back, and he was too fast to end the runway. And then he flipped, and then everybody was running, and it started on fire, and then it had 2 explosions.
Corona Fire says 4 people on board died. The crash sent plumes of black smoke billowing into the air. Crews could see the smoke as the call for help went out.
Engine 3 is on scene. We do have 1 plane that's fully involved in the brush.
The smoke was just too intense, and the fire, it was just horrible.
The National Transportation Safety Board will investigate the crash. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Washington.
We're to turn next this evening to that partial bridge collapse in Arizona, the flames after a train carrying hazardous materials derailed. It happened in Tempe, the bridge partially collapsing there. Some of the cars falling as well. And ABC's Clayton Sandell is on the scene tonight.
Tonight, the flaming freight train Inferno outside Phoenix, Arizona, derailing on a bridge in Tempe just after 6 this morning.
Had a fire on the Mill Avenue train bridge.
Part of that bridge collapsed, a mess of twisted metal, tracks, and train cars falling into a park below. Nearly 100 firefighters raced to the scene as flames raced to engulf cars loaded with lumber, grain, and other products.
The fire is traveling north along the train bridge, which is making it extraordinarily difficult for our firefighters to fight.
Union Pacific says tanker cars that fell off the bridge contain a hazardous and highly flammable chemical. The fire department says 1 tanker is leaking and is using heavy equipment to pull the car upright, stop the leak, and prevent another fire. As flames raged, a light rail passenger train on a nearby bridge slowly pushed its way through the smoke. Valley Metro Rail telling us it was safer for this final train to pass through than stop on the bridge. Federal investigators now working to figure out why the derailment happened.